What a night for the Montreal Canadiens. Kent Hughes, during the intermission, revealed his draft plan and how he intends to be very competitive when it comes to next year. Plus, Kaiden Primeau makes some Habs history with a 40-save shutout. Slafkovsky scores. It was about as good a night as it gets in Habs land. We're going to talk about all of that. You're going to want to stick around, especially for Kent's comments on this episode of Habs Digest. But guys, before we get into the video, I wanted to set a like goal for this video. Not going to ask to subscribe or anything, but hit that like button. Last time I asked for 500, we got 750. I'm going to ask for 800 this time. I know it sounds insane to get 800 likes on a video, but if you guys want to help us, push us in the algorithm, push us to other Habs fans who might like our stuff, we'd really appreciate if you hit like right now. Jesse, let's get right into this. There is no other word. Well, there's probably a lot of other words. You guys probably know we love using the word insane on this channel. Do we use it too much? Doesn't really matter because it was insane. The Habs beat the Blue Jackets 3-0 in what ended up being a goalie battle after Merzlikins let in 3 on 4 shots. They put in Daniil Tarasov, and ever since then, there were 0 goals the whole game. But the big story, despite Slafkovsky scoring, Joshua Waugh scoring, Galley scoring again, Jesse, the big story here is Cayden Primeau. My goodness, he has raised his save percentage to .910 on the season, lowered his GAA to 2.83, and it's not updated here, but that's his second shutout of the season. He was getting Primeau chants, stuff we haven't heard in such a long time. I could talk about this forever. What a statement game for the guy who's now officially the Habs backup.
In his first game as the official backup now for the Montreal Canadiens, right? To post a shutout in your first one, right? Like, this has to be comforting for Kent Hughes, but also not just for himself, but really for just the whole team. This is the way you want to start it, right? And what a way early on, big glove save. You knew that he was just ready to go right from the very beginning. So, I mean, it's just amazing to see, and especially that save right at the end. I don't know if that one at the end, the big where he's coming across, that big push save to his right, that might have even been nicer to kind of really seal that shutout, right? Because everybody in the building was just praying for him to kind of get that shutout. It's been a long time, right? In Habs fans, we have high standards when it comes to our goalies. We expect excellency, right? And Kaiden Primeau, we know that there's something there. There's something kind of special there, right? So for him in his first game where he really gets this opportunity as the official starting backup to play like this, I mean, this is really huge for the young man.
I mean, this is far from a fluke shutout. You could maybe argue his first shutout of the season, the 13 save performance against the Ducks, maybe that was a bit more of a fluke. He was making some insane saves, like no less than 5 highlight reel saves. That diving glove save, sliding to his left, robbing someone. That one right at the end, sliding to his right with the pad. This is not a fluke. That is an extremely talented goalie putting that on. I'm super excited to see what's to come for Kaiden Primeau. It was like, when was the last time you heard the crowd chanting a goalie's name like that? Was it Carey Price? It might have been. It's just insanity. I'm sure he'll cool down. I hope he never does. But 41 saves in a shutout. By the way, the record for saves in a home shutout in Habs history is 42, done by Jacques Plante, Carey Price, and José Theodore. Kaiden Primeau had 41 tonight. Unreal. But we got to talk a bit about some other guys just before we get into the other stuff in the video, Jesse. We could talk about Primeau for ages. If you like Kaiden Primeau, leave a like on this video. We'll tell him you guys like the video for him. Yeah, that works. So, but let's talk a bit about Slav as well, Jesse. What an intimidating presence the Habs power play has been rolling as of late. Slav early on, as the announcers are calling for a Caufield goal, it's Slafkovsky who puts home a one-timer, just further cementing the fact that he is a true threat on that other side. He's kind of changing this power play slowly but surely.
Right, with the huge bomb on the one-timer, and Matheson, maybe kind of reacting, maybe seeing a little bit of that frustration from Slav, right? And sometimes it takes a little bit of that piss and vinegar almost. Can you say piss and vinegar on YouTube?
So. I think we're okay.
It's like it takes that to maybe bring it out and realize, okay, maybe I do need to pass this young man. He's now demanding the puck. Cue Slapzilla, Josh. That shot is just absolutely feared and revered around the NHL, and rightfully so, right? Like, we're seeing whenever he gets any sort of opportunity, he's just letting it rip. Like, this guy has an unreal shot. We've been seeing his playmaking a little bit recently, but now he's just doing it all. I think he's going to really get on a hot streak here to finish off this season.
Hope so. Final little thing I wanted to talk about, Alex Newhook getting second star of the game with just the 1 assist. arguably his best game of the season, even though he only got the 1 point. He was so good tonight, creating opportunities, fighting and winning puck battles. Amazing stuff. And Joshua Roy gets another goal off a deflection off an Arber Xhekaj point shot. Just some amazing stuff, Jesse, as we're heading into the final stretch of the season. Maybe just a quick note on how good it is to see even our guys who are like, just called up in WA, or a guy that we're 23-year-old new hooker we're hoping to see take that next step. Just seeing that they're starting to really produce like true solid middle six, even top six level guys right now is crazy.
It is for sure. And it's nice to see over the last 4 or 5 games now that Newhook's starting to get rewarded. When he came back from injury, you see that the play was there, still being good on the power play, but not quite getting the numbers on the boards. And we're kind of, we're waiting for that because that's what we fairly do expect from Newhook, right? But so nice to see that he is now putting up those points on the board, getting that amazing chemistry he continues to develop with Joshua Roy. Again, a solid game in front of the net, beautiful hands on that tip goal there. So amazing to see. But yeah, absolutely. Alex Newhook, he's a big part of this team. If we really want to take those next steps, he could really play a major part in this. And he's really kind of cementing that role. Amazing to see, right? How he's just able to really carry the puck throughout, through the whole ice, really, so just being a great distributor. So really hoping to see that continue and stoked to see it.
I think it will, hopefully, in the Habs next game. I believe it's against Boston Thursday night. Can't wait to see what kind of stuff will happen when that game comes. But we're going to transition a bit to Kent Hughes now. At intermission, he said something a little bit interesting. He was getting interviewed by TSN. That's who was hosting the game tonight. But yeah, he had a few things to say. And well, I tweeted some of it. By the way, if you want some Habs updates outside of YouTube, go follow the Habs Digest Twitter account. But we tweeted there tonight. Kent Hughes at intermission stated that the Habs plan to draft the best player available this year, and he did say, all things being equal, though, he would draft for need. We'll get into that in a second. And he also made it quite clear he wants the team to be much more competitive next year by saying, like, I don't want to be fighting for 5th or 6th draft spot next year. He said, we want to compete. And, like, of course, he was pressed saying, like, well, at what point do you just draft a forward, kind of? He said, well, if all things are equal, we will draft for need if it comes down to it. So basically, if one of these defensemen here and one of these forwards here that the Habs really, really like are sitting there for them, well, it sounds to me like Kent Hughes is going to take a forward in that situation. There's lots of amazing prospects here. Sam Dickinson has a bomb of a shot, 6'3". There's some great defensive prospects there. Anton Silyev, Zeev Boyum. There's a lot of great stuff. But, Jesse, a forward's what they need, and it seems like Kent Hughes, well, he certainly has that on his mind.
Kent Hughes is ready for this team to take the next step in their rebuild. And we're here for it. We're really excited. You got to feel like he's got a great pulse on this team. Again, doing the rebuild properly, we're kind of trying to maximize that pick this year, but while not overdoing the rebuild, right? Sometimes you think you're doing the rebuild's doing you. These teams kind of get caught in that cycle, right? Where they're not so much in control of their timeline anymore. So really amazing to see. I feel like, with getting this pick, again, keeping in mind all the prospects and that we really have and all the picks for in the future, that's what really allows us to then start being more competitive. So he's actually letting us know some major plans because, Josh, if this team is going to be more competitive as of next year, you have to feel like some major moves are going to be involved this summer to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to obviously rely on a lot of your guys to take that next step up to the next level, but let's be honest, this roster as is, even if they take that jump, I think they can be solid, but I think some people maybe sometimes underestimate how difficult it is to ice a playoff level roster, especially in a stacked Atlantic division. So there are going to need to be some moves made. And I think you're very right. I think whether it's trading some of his draft capital plus some prospects for a big name this offseason, then going big game fishing next year in a huge UFA class that includes the likes of, Mitch Marner, Leon Draisaitl, Mikko Rantanen, guys who Kent Hughes could feasibly go after. I think something's going to happen this year, and I think he's going to try and move off some contracts. The Habs have a bunch of money coming off the books. I mean, if you're a Kent, Jesse, to me, I think he's trying to stay as diplomatic as he can while informing us Habs fans that, I think we might need to be in for a roller coaster ride.
For sure. And I find it so funny with his comments that, when saying that we need to draft for need, basically, that we all know exactly what he's referring to. Mm-hmm. We know that is more at the forward position. Now, a lot of people say, okay, this draft is so stacked with D guys, but at the same time, I really think, that with some good luck, obviously, we're going to get an amazing pick, hopefully a top 5 pick for this year. And definitely, I think going for more an offensive guy, as Kent has kind of hinted to a couple times, I would say.
Let's hope so. But what do you guys think? What do you think of Kent Hughes' comments? What do you think of Primeau, Slafkovsky, Joshua Waugh? A bunch of amazing stuff to discuss tonight. And we'd love to hear all your thoughts down below. But that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. And if you enjoyed this video and you're still watching at this point and you haven't hit thumbs up, do it. It helps push us to other Habs fans. It helps promote us. And if you like what we do here, hey, we'd really appreciate if you gave us that bit of help. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.